Well, today, the driver's licenses for thousands of commercial drivers across the state were revoked. That includes operators of semi-trucks, school buses, and even some construction workers. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says that this is because they were illegally issued to, quote, dangerous foreign drivers. But the Trump administration and Governor Gavin Newsom's office have different stories about why this happened. NBC4's Alex Brosier joins us live from the Commerce truck stop with those details. Alex.
Yeah, today the Department of Transportation put out a statement saying that those 17,000 CDLs were revoked in the state of California because they were illegally issued. But the governor's office quickly responded, saying the Department of Transportation just isn't sharing the truth.
I'll be honest, it's probably embarrassing for the state because at the end of the day, they are going to have to bow down to the Fed. I want to give Trump credit for what he's doing, but I'll be honest with you, we're going to get to there in a second. I took his other words as a form of disrespect. See, I didn't read this as California revoked 17,000 commercial driver's license. I saw this as California now has 17,000 openings for American English-speaking commercial driver licensees. People who speak English, people who are citizens, and people who are already here to work. Just like with those H-1B visas, the reason they choose to bring them over here is because they have a deal. They're still paying, they're just paying a little bit better than these people would make in their home country. And the company, the scout that's bringing them here, makes the spread. And then they cut a deal with the company that hires them, so they get a kickback. Also, they don't have to pay for all their housing. They put them in dorms and corporate apartments, and they'll put 4 families, 5 families in 1 2-bedroom. I've seen it. They were my neighbors, and I used to always wonder, like, I see a lot of these Indian guys dressed up, wearing like a little suit, little button-up shirt, and I'm like, what jobs are they doing that are so intricate and special that somebody who's American, who's actually speaks English and who's looking for work, that they could not be trained to do? In my opinion, there's no such job. These are not jobs that require certain types of body styles, because see, that's when it can get specific. Everyone can't go play in the NFL. Everyone can't go play in the NBA. Everyone's not physically an athlete. But as far as mental capacity, unless you're autistic or you have some kind of this disability, there's nothing you really can't learn with training if you care to learn. So when people try to tell me, oh, we have to bring over these drivers from other countries, why? What is so special that we have to bring in drivers from India and Cambodia and Nigeria? What is so good about these drivers that makes them better than an American driver, where an American who speaks English and actually I can read English and can read the signs on the road? How can this person even compete with an American? Oh, it's because they're willing to work for less and work more and not expect insurance or any type of perks that would come along with the position. They're just happy to be here because that's what they agreed to. And that's just not going to work for an American. So now these companies are going to have to hire Americans. I don't understand. You understand, this is California. I'm from LA. Look at me. I'm doing another show about this later today. I'm from Los Angeles. What do you mean when you graduate high school, go into the workforce? What workforce? Where are we supposed to work? I remember being 16 years old. I applied for a job at Subway. I go down there to the Subway because I had put in my application thinking I was going to be a shoo-in. 16. I'm like, 10th grade or whatever. I'm trying to get my first job just so I can make a little extra money when I'm not at school or on the weekends when I'm not at practice, whatever. The guy who is in charge of hiring me, no English. 40 years old. The guy who he hires, 30-something years old, barely speaks English. Because of illegal immigration, we have no job market. When I was growing up in California, we had no options. All we could do is gangbang. That was it. You gangbang and you in the street, you try to find ways to hustle and make some money. There's thousands, tens of thousands of businesses, millions of people. And every time you go somewhere to get a job, the positions are always filled by people who are Latino, Hispanic, but mainly illegal. Even if they didn't speak English, they'll be 2 times, 3 times your age sometimes, working in these offices, working at fast food restaurants, working as CDL drivers. Now, if you have to pay me a livable wage by law and you don't owe them shit by law, I can't compete with them in the workforce. And I'm not behind the scenes. It's crazy that I didn't even realize until now. The reason so many of us became gangbangers and so many of us got killed and ended up in prison, we had no jobs. I mean, there's businesses, there's no openings because of illegal immigration. People would just bring in people that'll work for whatever and get paid under the table. I remember some of these places in LA, they'll hire people, hundreds of people, illegals. And then in 2 weeks, when it's time to pay everybody, they'll call La Negra, ICE, and have them all picked up. And because there's no loyalty in the illegal community when it comes to what businesses work for, they could always find, even if other illegals are saying we're not working with them, they can still find scabs that will still come and roll the dice and risk working there knowing they might not get paid. We damn sure had no chance competing with them. So when someone tells me that 17,000 jobs just opened in California, it just sends off a light in my brain. And I'm like, this is amazing. I've never heard of a thing called a job opening in California. I remember just to work, I had to drive from LA all the way Ontario Mills. I think that was probably my first job. I was working at the Ontario Mills Mall. I had to literally commute all the way to Ontario. And I only got a job there because I was trilingual, So yeah, they would have me there doing translations. It's not like I couldn't compete with the illegals because I don't speak Spanish. It's just that I couldn't compete with the illegals because they had to pay me an American wage because I'm a citizen. So I was fucked. So I wasn't appealing. And I would be wondering, why are all these people with kids who are in their 30s and 40s working at jobs meant for high school people during the summer? Why are you working here full time expecting to support a family of 4 for the job that I'm trying to do as a part-time gig? It's ridiculous. So now to see that there's finally job openings in California, I want to rejoice. I think it's great, but think about it. These drivers are out here killing people. They can't even read the signs that are in English. All they know how to do is just drive. Someone puts them in a seat. They take all the money from the contract. They throw these people some crumbs, and they're just happy to be on the road, risking lives. This is insane. And that's the thing. Once we start removing illegals from jobs, when I tell you the boom of American jobs it's massive. It's already happening. I just did a story about Atlanta Home Depot. They're not even charging people for trade school. They're teaching young men who are citizens free trade school classes on how to do carpentry, paint, plumbing, electrical. They're literally, because the illegals are gone. My country, my fellow people, crippled 2 generations because of illegal aliens and illegal immigration, just because politicians want to fatten their census data so they can get more congressional seats, and so that the people that slip through the cracks can vote illegally. So it appears like my state is a supermajority of pedophiles, Democrats, and just in gays, when it's not. But it gives off that image because of all the illegal migration. And these people are fighting against this because this is their real base. This is all they have. We need these jobs. And these businesses know they need us. That's why they're quick to pivot. They're not fighting and they're not closing their doors. They are hiring Americans. These 17,000 jobs, I have friends that are truckers. I was trying to get one of my friends to get on live with me right now. He's a trucker. He's been competing with illegals for years, having to undercut his rates. And it takes a toll on his business. He loses business to these companies that are willing to do it for, a third of the price. Now, he says his phone is ringing off the hook. He doesn't have enough drivers or trailers anymore for the demand. Just going down to Terminal Island and you're coming from the ports in San Pedro to go east. He's trying to recruit people right now. He can't get enough people. All because they're getting rid of the illegals. We need that. When you say America first, you're saying Americans first. That means you have to put Americans above people from other countries. If it's every man for himself, America is its own man. We have to be about ourselves first. You can't help others until you can help yourself. And people have to realize that, respect it, and stop arguing with us about it, because we're done arguing. Anyway, we're not doing it.
Today, truck drivers got back on the road after filling up at the Commerce truck stop. On the same day, U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said the California DMV revoked 17,000 commercial driver's licenses in the state because Duffy said the CDLs were illegally issued to, quote, dangerous foreign drivers. This morning, the California DMV asked the governor's office to respond, and Governor Newsom's spokesperson said, quote, once again, the Sean Road Rules Duffy fails to share the truth, spreading easily disproven falsehoods in a sad and desperate attempt to please his dear leader. The governor's office says the
if what Duffy said was false, why didn't Gavin Newsom correct it right there on record and say what he said? Why not be specific and say, well, this is what he said, that's not true? Why leave it up to interpretation? Why not just clear it up for us? Tell us what he said that was a lie. Tell us what he said that was wrong. But Gavin Newsom doesn't want his words held against him. These people never want to be caught lying publicly because it makes for a really good soundbite that we can just replay over and over when they're trying to get reelected or run for something or convince you of something else. We can just prove to you they're a liar. Now, Gavin Newsom's a proven liar. Remember the French Laundry? Remember when your businesses and everything was shut down? Remember he tried to shut down my business, but yet his piece of shit French restaurant, French Laundry, Dirty Laundry was still open. And I remember seeing somebody took a little picture. They're all sitting in close proximity with no masks on. Yeah, that guy's a lying, greasy piece of shit. So we're not listening to him. But that's why he's not going to tell you exactly what Duffy lied about, because Duffy didn't lie. He can't.
Impacted drivers are not illegal immigrants, and that the licenses were withdrawn due to, quote, inconsistency with California law. The DMV didn't respond when asked for further clarification on what that means. But the news.
That means legally you're not supposed to issue a license to somebody who's not a citizen. Legally, you can't get a CDL if you're not a citizen. That's how these people are insane. Think about it. The same way they have that black dude teacher as a superintendent as an illegal, and they never checked any of his credentials, and he lied about being a doctor and all kinds of scholarship. Bro, these people are just, these Democrats, these leftists are fraudsters and liars. That's it.
This comes 1 month after a semi-truck driver who was in the United States illegally was accused of causing a crash that killed 3 people in Ontario. And it follows the California DMV's announcement in September that the DMV cannot issue or renew CDLs to people who are here legally in the United States but are not permanent residents or citizens.
Those families that these illegal CDL drivers are killing, they should all individually sue Gavin Newsom and his estate, because he's the one that permitted this. Just like the BBC CEOs that resigned and they said the book stopped with us. We need Newsom to take that type of accountability. But see, Newsom's not only the problem. This mentality right here is a problem. And this is why in the thumbnail you see a picture of Donald Trump crying. Because even though I'm a Trump supporter, I'm not necessarily all about Trump. Trump is just a mascot for my country. See, I'm America first. That means Americans first. Yeah, of course, MAGA. I like the gear. Obviously, I wear a MAGA hat. But since now it stands for Make Israel Great Again, man, fuck MAGA. That's not my priority no more. My priority has to be more specific. because now they're bleeding this Israel stuff into American stuff. And I don't like Zionists. I see what they do. I don't like them. I don't like how they behave. I don't agree with any of them. None of them. There's too many. Think about it. The reason you see there's a war, the globalists versus the Zionists. Why do you think Chuck Schumer's out of there? Ben Shapiro's about to be out of there. Netanyahu's going to prison. The Zionists are going down. Klaus Schwab and the globalists are going to take over. Now we have a new master. Whatever. But in the meantime, let's see what we can do about us. When Trump says something like this, that the reason they're bringing in all these illegals and giving away all these visas is because America doesn't have talent, when literally we have a TV show that says America got talent. This is what I got to say, to hell with Trump. If Trump's not Americans first, then what the fuck, what good is he? What good is Trump at this point? I'll be honest. If Nick Fuentes was president, he would never say none of this bitch ass shit that Trump's about to say. Take a listen.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it?
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
What do you mean, no, we don't? Trump, we have one of the most diverse countries on earth. People send their children to universities in the United States from all over the world. We have not just one of the most diverse workforces, but the most robust. We have the highest safety standards. So people who are trained here learned with the highest standards in mind. What do you mean we don't have the talent? The kids in other countries, they start off at 3 years old and they're learning how to build lithium batteries at 3 years. Get the fuck up. Remember, these are jobs that require the mind. They're not necessarily physical. Anything that requires you to use brain power over physical attributes, anybody can be trained to do it if they care to learn. Anybody can be trained to do anything. Just like she said, I wish she would have pushed back. What were we doing before illegal immigration? Americans were learning the crafts and doing the work. What Trump is trying to say is, well, if they invest $10 billion in the factory, then they're going to want to bring their own people. Then that's too fucking bad. When we think you're investing in America, we assume that means you're investing in Americans, not just investing in your own people via America. If you're building a Hyundai factory for batteries in Georgia, we're expecting you, when you say there's going to be 10,000 new employees, we expect 10,000 job openings for Georgians, not 5,000 for Georgians and 5,000 for fucking Korean imports on H-1B visas. And that's the thing. We get lost in the semantics and they play games with words. Oh, they're investing in America. Are they? How many Americans are going to benefit from that? Well, they're going to open up 10,000 jobs. For who? How many jobs are allocated for Americans versus how many jobs are allocated from people from their own country or from some other foreign nation where they can hire people for fucking slave wages? Show me the difference. And then you find out it's not even 50-50. 70-30. 70 illegals and H-1B visa holders, 30 for Americans for low-level management positions, just to kind of be there when inspectors come and they speak good English. That's bullshit, Trump. And this is where the campaign promises have to come up, because I'm assuming he's America first. But you have to be America only to be America first. You can't be America first and then another country is secondary. Now, fuck that. America first, America only.
We don't have talented people here.
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea.
I don't give a fuck what they want, Trump. What are you telling me? Well, in Georgia, they wanted illegal. Who gives a fuck what they want? America first, America only. The best interest of our people must trump that of any other institutions or these other companies, whatever. Because an investment in America that doesn't benefit Americans might not even be an investment. It might as well not be an investment here at all. Now it's just a play on words. Now you're finessing me. Now you're tricking me. You're being disingenuous. Now you're crafting your words so that I'm none the wiser, because I'm assuming that what you're saying is thorough. Oh, we're going to invest in, it's going to be 10,000 new jobs opening up in Georgia. But it's a fucking shame that I have to ask you, okay, what countries are you hiring people from for these jobs? And then they start stuttering like he just did. Well, we got to have some level of illegal immigration because we don't have the talent over here. I wish you would have told me this bullshit when we were going. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have voted for that fucking drunk bitch, but I definitely would have questioned you more, and I would have been reluctant to go all in with my support. I would have said, well, there's a few things I'm going to need from Trump, from the party, to ensure that we're all on the same page here. I didn't know it was Israel first. I didn't know that's what MAGA stood for, but I definitely didn't know that these companies, contingent upon their investments in America, will require them to bring in a certain amount of illegal immigration. I did not know that was a requirement, and it can't be a requirement going forward. This interview was fucking this. I'll be honest, I haven't been this mad in a long time.
Yeah. That made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing. It's very dangerous.
Everything's complicated. Building cars is complicated. But guess what? You have machines, you have classes, you have schools, you have instructions. Anyone can learn to do anything. That's the whole point of learning. You don't just give up and say, yeah, these people aren't talented enough. That's like you spitting in the face of my fellow Americans. You're saying we're not good enough. So these other people from these other countries are better than us, so they can break our immigration laws, come over here and take jobs that our people need, that our people want. Now that's Trump being a globalist siding against us. That means he's not on our team. And that's a problem for me. That's a huge problem. Like I said, you couldn't get Nick Fuentes to say no bullshit, bitch shit like this about Americans while wanting to be our president. Fuck you.
Dangerous, a lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles.
That's exactly who the fuck needs to. If they've been in unemployment for 5 years, then they need to be working somewhere. They need to be doing something. If they're not good enough to take off the unemployment line and employ, then what good are they for anything? What are you trying to say? They're just disposable. They're waste. You sound like one of these fucking globalists. You sound like Yuval Noah Harari. Oh yeah, we call them useless eaters. We don't have any work for them to do. They can just play video games. They can live in a pod. You sound like one of them. What do you mean we're not going to just take them off of unemployment and just put them in there to make missiles? Why not? You think are they beyond being trained? So what can Americans do, Trump? Oh, we can pay a shit ton of money in taxes that can be used to send to other countries like Israel and to fund wars in the Ukraine. I guess we're good enough for that, but we're not good enough to employ so we can build bombs, so that we can build batteries. So we're good for everything else except this. Yeah, I appreciate him being a CEO. Yes, he brought in $350 billion for the country since June. But at the end of the day, is he America and Americans first? Obviously not. The number one thing we wanted Trump to do was to shut down the factories we're basically force these companies to close their factories abroad, reopen them here in the United States so they can hire Americans. That was the whole premise of America First, bringing factories back, putting Americans back to work. Not so that we can employ fucking illegals and leave Americans on the unemployment line. What are you talking? And he's just talking about it so candidly, like it's already been decided. Fuck that. And then, you know, in California, I mean, yeah, 17,000 jobs is one thing, but no, we need all the jobs. It's 300 something million Americans once you get rid of the illegals. Actually, once you get rid of the illegals, we might be 275. Because there's never been an accurate census, we don't know how many fucking illegals are here in the first place. But however many it is, we need every job and then some. We're not turning down no jobs. There are people to work in the fields if we need them. They have equipment for the people to use in the fields. They just got used to paying so little, it cuts into their profit when they got to pay a livable wage. But guess what? They're going to learn to live with it, or they're going to shut down, and then they lose it all. So they're not going to do that. They're going to stay open. I'm sorry, just watching him say that, no, you don't. You don't have, how the fuck are you going to say what 300 million people can do? You don't know our talents. You don't know everything about the people here, what kind of training or what their capabilities. Any and everybody can learn to do anything for the most part. There are certain jobs certain people can't do. But there are millions of people who can do it and who can learn. And to just ask them out without giving them a chance, it's ridiculous. And personally, I won't stand for it. I won't support it. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, share the video. The single boyfriend, right-wing Rico. I'll be back with another episode in about 20 minutes. I appreciate your support. Shout out to our sponsor, cosigning.com. America first, America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.